we had that Detty December thing in Nigeria before the Detty December thing became a thing.
It was so very traditional.
Oh, like even online or physically, you can see other people's village masquerades. But in my village, it's still a taboo. Like a woman should not see a masquerade.
When you have family members that are, chiefs or just part of royalty, you're going from one festival to the other.
For people that are still children, unfortunately, the way the country is, they can't travel and see those things. I feel like their first reactions to seeing this thing would be the reactions that we had when we saw it.
I really feel like Detty December in and of itself is kind of slightly different from what it has become. It was very rooted in culture. Nobody's kicking boots in your head because you sleep at their concert.
So the end of the year has always been a powerful time for African societies. And before the Gregorian calendar became dominant all over the world, African societies mark time through harvest, seasons, and cycles. That's why, like, sometimes they say, how many rainy seasons have you seen? That's how they mark people's ages and how long they've been on earth. And across Africa, people celebrated the end of the year through harvest festivals, like New Yam festivals and so on. Like if you check different cultures around Africa, you see that so many cultures had their own form of festival, just heralding the end of the farming season and the approach of the dry season. So like, just tell us, how are the end of year celebrations like in your place?
For me, I think it takes me back to when I was still a young boy. Every Christmas or December, we would travel to the village, and it was always a beehive of activities, different cultural groups, the attire that would wear that was synonymous to my tribe, visiting family members. And at that time, in the African setting, everybody from far and wide would coming from wherever they are. I think we had that Detty December thing in Nigeria before the Detty December thing became a thing.
Right.
Because people from all over the world, wherever you are, be it Europe, Americas, wherever, Asia, you have to come home for that celebration. That was time when our parents would see their childhood friends and, come together and would eat that local dish, palm oil stew with garden egg and so many amazing things. For me, I always looked up to it because we get to eat fresh foods. We get to try out our local cuisines, especially that garden egg and yam, boiled with the skin.
Wow, I've never had that before.
It's garden egg
it's really
mashed
delicious.
with palm oil, salt, and some other things I can't remember.
It's actually very nice.
Nice, you should
Very
try it.
nice.
You should try
Very
it.
nice.
I think for me, both from my mother's side and from my father's side, we always had like this December thing. So from my dad's village, for example, they had their own village day on the 30th of December. And then there was a particular time, it was, I think, by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, that's when that thing starts. The masquerades would come and everybody had where they would assemble. They would watch the masquerades. They would dance. And it didn't stop that day. It's going to go forth till 31st of December throughout the night. So the thing happens in segments. They're going to do like the masquerade dance performances. Then by 7 in the evening, the masquerades will go back and then they'll bring DJs where they will play the serious mother bangers that were raining that time, and everybody were dancing. And then my grandmother, she used to do burukutu. So that, oh my god, like she was
BKT.
she was queen when she was alive. So and people would travel because the village were like neighboring villages. Everybody would come because it used to happen there. So they would dance till daybreak.
Wow.
And then from my mother's side, theirs was 1st of January. It's called Kaguru Day. So what happens is that I don't know if for someone that knows Kaguru very well, they will know that Kaguru has hills, and behind that hills there are people who live there.
Okay.
Yes, and these people, they've not really met with civilization, not because they don't know it, but because they don't want to have that touch. So some of them have not even discovered clothes. The Kagoro they speak is different from the ones that people in the village speak.
Oh, so no influence.
Yes,
It's just...
and you don't see those people till 1st of January. They don't come out till 1st of January, and then they will come for that particular festival. The king and his men are there. It happens in the square. They're like march past. Everything, it just happens there. And I would remember, as Mr. Gordon said, once it was December, everybody had to travel back to the village.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I think I found the part of the other people living on the other side of the hills very interesting. And I feel like it's a personal choice, okay, because definitely if they come out every year, then they are being in contact with the people who are living in modern times, in quotes, but they're choosing to still retain, let's say, original elements of their culture, and even their language is still very different from...
Yes, it's very different from
that's very interesting.
This reminds me of like my own family traditions every end of the year. So we go to Erinjesha waterfall. It's like a family thing. We hike the Erinjesha waterfall every end of the year, and we get to the, well, sometimes we get to the top floor and sometimes don't. Yeah. And it's said that there's a village up there on the on the seventh layer of the hill, the highest part of the hill. There's a whole village, a whole new civilization, and they don't mingle. A lot of times you don't even see them. Now for me, I've never had any contact with them. I just hear of them, and we know they're there. Perhaps. Who knows? So yeah, I mean, on my end, ours is always like pretty quiet. The whole family just comes around. We share meals together. We go and see sights and sounds. Sometimes we go to the king's palace. When you have family members that are chiefs or just part of royalty, you're going from one festival to the other, and when you're not doing that, you're just sitting down at home and conserving your energy.
Sounds so fun. Yes. Like for me, when I was much younger, I used to go to my hometown end of the year, and I remember one masquerade festival. I didn't even know what was happening because I was really young, and I just remember someone pushing us into the house, my cousin and I, because we had been wandering around, and they told us that, don't we want to give birth? And I was like, of course we want to give birth. And they were like, but you were not supposed to be outside at that time.
That's like this
the masquerades were passing, and women are not supposed to see. And yes, now, like even online or physically, you can see other people's village masquerades. But in my village, it's still a taboo. Like a woman should not see a masquerade, a woman or a child. Like it's a cult. That's masquerade. Yes, it's for the traditional worshippers, people that are still traditional worshippers. They have a cult for the masquerades and all of that. They say maybe you won't give birth, or your child will die, or something will happen to you as a woman if you see it. So those kind of things can be interesting, So sometimes I wonder, if you think about it, do you think that it's better that now a lot of these things are out in the open, or do you think that the African culture is being diluted now that you can take your smartphone and see a masquerade, or you can play with a masquerade, and a masquerade can even be begging you for money? Like, is the mystique gone, or is that good for the evolution of culture?
I think that mystique is gone because so many things have changed. I guess Africans are slowly becoming more liberal in their ways of doing things. The Western world has infiltrated our culture so deeply. Exposure to content on TV, social media has taken away that mystique, where sometimes you only but wonder what the masquerades are all about. But now everybody wants to take a logical approach towards the masquerade. Like, come on, man, I'm sure it's Tolu that's under that masquerade. I wouldn't take it seriously and all of that. So, science, exposure to the Western world. Maybe can we call it education as well? Has somehow
Western education
has somehow changed that perspective we used to have. That look, this is sacred, this is traditional. There's some certain lines you don't cross. But with the influences of the Western world, curiosity sets in. You want to go find out what this is all about. Okay, what cloth did they use in weaving this material that the masquerade is putting on? I can see human feet under those masquerade clothes. Why are you telling me it's a spirit?
I recognize those feet.
Those feet. Why are you telling me all of this? So I think it has changed all of that.
It's Deji's family that usually wears this masquerade
Deji walks with a limp, and that's the limp. that's the limp. I see that limp. So I think
Just proper sea finish.
exactly. So I think that has actually changed all of that, and it is watering down the belief system that we had. You know, that respect, the way people revert some sacred things to your tribe. People question it or outrightly just don't even respect or believe in it. And I think it's affecting our culture because with this, it erodes our heritage, and we begin to have a unidentical perspective to mirror our history from, because you'll be like, okay, look, I don't have anything to mirror this thing to, so it doesn't exist, or this is who I am fluid, and this is how I choose to go by. And I think it has changed it, and it will change if we do not restore it.
Absolutely. I have a question now though, the fact that these things are not they're not highly regarded like before, does it take away the actual power that they have? Does this mean that even though people don't respect these masquerades again, if you come out and you see Oro, you still face the consequences of not seeing these things? We need to ask these questions, because as much as we're liberal now, do these things still have effect even now?
I think it's a very.
Or have they diluted the powers of the gods?
I think what you've asked a very, very, very potent question, because if you don't know fire, right, as a young toddler, your first time you see fire will burn you regardless of if you believe in it or not.
I like that analogy.
Just like the Yoruba adage, "Omode omogun okpe lefo," the child doesn't know medicine and is calling it vegetable.
I love that too.
Yeah.
So should we test it?
No, like we already know that women are not supposed to see the masquerade. So I don't know if I want to test.
Right.
So I think that my perception is kind of different, because I think that because we've grown up, that's why we see it as always washing away. For people that are still children, unfortunately, the way the country is, they can't travel and see those things. I feel like their first reactions to seeing this thing would be the reactions that we had when we saw it.
They still have wonder and curiosity and mystery.
Yes. So I think that's what is wrong with us. We've grown up and then we know that, this is Deji. Deji is there. But for them,
I think that's why, tales of these things should live on.
Yes.
Right? If you see this is what happens. So that even if over time, as the years go by and you grow up and you feel like you want to form your own opinions of these things, you kind of have that background knowledge. This is what they say this is about, this is what this does, this is why you shouldn't see this. So that when even if you say you want to beat your chest and try it, you know that you've been forewarned, that sort of thing.
But I'm afraid that we still have not answered the question of do they still have the powers? Did they ever have the powers?
I think we can't answer that question.
Right?
Everybody has their personal beliefs. Some people are skeptics, So when I say some people, so I think it's a personal thing. You
But
can
power
only
is
answer
power.
that for
Power is
yourself. Yes, so power is power, but the people who don't believe still don't believe. So we can't say whether this thing or this person has power or not. If it has power, it has power, regardless of our belief or disbelief.
Or is it possible that, our ancient fathers just thought of these things as entertainment? Bring everybody together. Let's, go deep. This was how we used to do it 200 years before now. And let's evoke our ancestral spirits. Let's see them in the physical, in the form of, them being dressed up in, their masquerade
Honestly,
clothes.
I don't
all
know.
of that.
For where I come from, I don't think that's the case.
Mine too. Like
So
it's
it's
a
still
proper
power is
cult.
power.
Yes, I think so.
Or did
I
it
think
ever
so.
work that's for them to come to that assumption? Maybe there are women that saw the masquerades and never gave birth. That's why they now concluded.
Perhaps. Well, sometimes causation is not, or correlation is not causation.
And another thing is that, there's this proverb, what you believe in works for you. So probably they saw it, and so that could
And because
be.
they have this belief that this is it, so yeah.
That's why.
Absolutely. That
What we
makes a lot
just
of
said
sense.
now is the Western influence speaking for us.
I do always say that.
It's
But
also
we
Western
can't help it.
influence
We
speaking
can't
for
help
us.
it.
Because it means
So
it has
let's imagine
diluted the whole thing.
ourselves without the Western influence.
We would believe it.
I
Who
can't
climbed
even
and sink
imagine
us?
myself without Western influence. I don't know. How would I be like? What would my worldview be like? How would I think? I don't know. I really don't know.
So I think that a lot of these things, over time, they've just kind of evolved. But I still think that some of... Okay, so there are two sides to this thing,
Okay,
right? Okay, hear me out. I mean, there's the part where, we have stories of deities and gods that used to exist, like the Shango and Oshun and Oya. I mean, till today, you still hear stories of people that, they had problem with fertility. They went to meet Oshun for a child, and Oshun granted them the child. Is it coincidence? We'll never know.
I think this goes back to what she said about what you believe works for you. Because even in modern religions, I don't want to name anyone, but it says like if you have faith like a mustard seed, if you believe. So I think
People
across
give
religions,
testimonies that
across
they did this
cultures,
and
even when you are non-religious, whatever you believe will
Is
work
what works for you.
Yes,
But
I think
I think
whatever
the-
you give energy to will give energy back to you.
But I think
something like that.
the African concept of maybe religions and deities did not operate under the factor of faith. You touch
It was
this,
a thing
you
of
go.
experience. I've seen this thing.
if you
When I
try
touched
it-
this
if
thing,
you
I
try-
felt it.
Okay, me, I've never been close to any African traditional, I've not been close to it.
Me, I still
I
stand
think-
on what you believe.
So there's this very interesting end of year culture
Yeah.
in Cameroon. It's called Ngondo. And they say like it's about the water spirits. So there's a prophet that goes at the end of the year, he goes into the water, and then when he comes back, he comes out with prophecies for the new year. And I think that's very cool. Like I would want my life to be organized. Let someone go to the gods and pray and come back and tell me this is what you should do this year. These are the prophecies for your life. So
Don't
my
do
life
that
can be
next
aligned
year.
and okay, I know what to do,
I think I love the concept of that. Like he goes into the water, maybe he intercedes with the gods, and they tell him about maybe the farming season, what's to come and all of that. He comes back and he says, okay, come this new circle, because obviously they don't work with the years. We're going to have a bountiful harvest. We're going to do this. Maybe the village will experience some kind of, increase with their livestock and all of that. And maybe they believe and, they go with the flow.
Okay.
So I think I love the idea and the concept of, this tribe from Cameroon.
Yeah.
And it makes a whole lot of sense. It feels like immersing yourself into this mystical world. Everything about African is all spiritual
Very
and
mystical.
mystical. You go in, and that's why you don't find people messing around with rivers almost across all African cultures.
True,
because they
true.
feel it's another world. So he goes in, gets in touch with these spiritual beings. They foresee the future. He comes out and he relays as a messenger. See, I've seen these people and this is what they've told me. This year, we're going to have a bountiful harvest. Maybe they do all the dance and all of that. The flow, maybe with our livestock, we'll have more cattle or whatever the case may be, depending on what their farming system or their
But
cultural
what
system is.
What if my guy was just doing it to be relevant?
Here we go again with the Western influence. We cannot rule
What
that out.
if?
Looking at it
We
from
cannot rule it out. We cannot rule that
What
out.
if he was just a really excellent swimmer? And he could
I
hold
mean,
his
this
breath
thing that you're
underwater?
saying about, rivers and us and, the mystique behind it, could that be why there are a lot of black people and, Nigerians
Not
and Africans
wanting to
that
swim.
don't want to swim, that don't know how to swim?
Now imagine, let's say 1800s, somewhere in Bar Beach, Lagos. You are standing in front of a water body that you cannot see the end. You'll be forced to want to worship the whatever that comes out of
And then
it.
slowly
And maybe
when
from-
people get in there,
They
they
drown.
drown.
Yeah.
And they feel, the spirit world has come to take them.
Yes.
And maybe while they're hanging out by the bank of the ocean or the sea or whatever the case may be, they see maybe whales and, ostriches or whatever animals, whatever the case you want to call them, these sea urchins, whatever, jumping out and doing their thing. And they say, hey, these are deities that we
And
cannot understand.
another thing
and
about-
they go into worshipping them. So you wouldn't blame them. Imagine, the African man of 2,000 years from now, standing in front of a water body, he begins to wonder and go, where does this thing lead me to?
Yeah.
Maybe to another world. Let's worship the spirits of this place and let it take us there. So I think that's the rationale behind it, if you want to look at it.
I know another interesting thing about water, is when you stand in front of a body of water, it's almost like when you now stand close to it, it starts to come closer to you.
So the energy
It starts
of the
to feel
spirit
like it's
is
coming
being
closer to you. So
attracted.
of course you're going to think that there's something.
There's something.
Yeah,
about
there's
it.
something
But there
about
is something.
this.
Let's not
Yeah, actually, I really feel like there is
discredit
something.
Africa now.
I really feel like there is something, to be honest.
I don't play.
Neither do I,
At all.
honestly.
There was an instance of this boy in Jos. He drowned inside. There's this place in Jos called Lamingo Dam. So, he drowned. He was playing with his friends, and then he drowned in the water. So when he drowned, like it was within seconds, they didn't see him. You know, they were looking. So that period, there were a lot of things that came out. Some people were saying that, oh, they have to do this for the water to release the body. They have to do that. They have to do this, and you know. I think
coconuts.
Yes, I don't know what they did though, but I think the body now came out. It was almost fish were almost done with that thing. But yeah, it now came out. So now it's either two things. It's either maybe it's true from whoever said they had to do what they were doing.
I'm struggling not to laugh.
It was just water current that just
Or
returned.
maybe they didn't even check well. They were scared.
Yes.
I think the simple law of physics, what goes up sometimes must definitely come. You know, it's when you put anything inside water, especially a water body, for example, you know, because you're struggling, you know, science has not taken its course. And the reason why he came up because he's bloated and therefore it resurfaced to the water level. So, you know, like I said, it is that mysticism that we Africans we always revere. You see something, you can't explain it, you don't want to explore, you term it a deity and you worship it.
But
Or
to be
you term
honest,
it a name
sometimes
and
we're
you
not
run from
wrong
it.
with looking at it that way. Because if you think of it, even in the whole world, we've only explored how many percent of
The ocean,
water
yes.
bodies.
Yes.
The ocean has, I think it's only like 5% of what's in the ocean has actually been explored.
Yes.
Because a lot of people that have gone to try, some of them did not return.
Right.
You know, a lot of them did
Talking
not come
about
back.
explore, nobody still knows the story behind the Bermuda Triangle till date.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You have places like the Bermuda Triangle. You have what is this body of water called, where two different seas meet in the middle, but they never mix. I can't remember because one is salty and that's the scientific explanation. But if you see them, even from the looks of things,
Yes.
like they're different colors. One water is blue, one water is more green. And then they're just meeting
There
in the
are
middle like that,
many bodies of
clashing
water
together.
like that.
But they don't mix. You know, let's not even go far. Right here at home, you have the springs where hot water and cold water meet,
Yes,
but they never
because-
mix.
yes.
So definitely there is mystery, and I don't think that we are wrong to mysticize these things, right? But I think that a little more bravery in exploring the world around us would really help us learn to
Talking about bravery,
harness.
I think because most of people
Mr.
that
G is just
explore
putting his
these
face
things, they
like,
don't come back.
bravery. What you saying?
You know, this bravery
Yes.
you so fondly talk about has actually put the world in, you know, some kind of despair. What do I mean? If you look at the Western world, they explored and all of that. And because of their exploration and all of that, we're suffering issues with the ozone layer. The seas are being polluted with chemicals that have no business coming to the surface and all of that. So I think, you know, Africans, we are somehow in tune with the spirit world, not to mess with the order of things. Maybe the world wasn't supposed to be like that.
You know.
Because maybe some certain gases, some certain chemicals are not supposed to come to the surface. But because of this exploration that the white man is known for, it has virtually polluted the world.
I think it's a matter of responsible exploration, because then you see, we're taking us back to Benin and the people of Benin. A lot of the things that they did, a lot of the inventions they had, they wouldn't have done that if they did not explore. You know, if they didn't try new things.
Yes.
How would they have found out that you can use palm oil to power something? Who knew? Who knows
Like
if
that-
it even
that's a
started
good one.
out as,
Yes.
you know, fuel before it became a food item, or the other way around? You don't know. Do you understand? So this still took some level of exploration. They also had ships at that time, right?
Yeah,
Did
canoes
they?
and
But
canoes and-
I'm sure they were not planning on going as far as, you know, the ones
Not to get missing into
You
the
know?
abyss.
in the abyss, you know. But the point is, there was responsible exploration. So
Yeah,
I
let's
think
call it
that's
that.
it, because I think on the levels of growth as a human being, you must learn to interact and harness the power of your environment
Very true.
to make it work for your good.
Yes.
You have dominion of what is around you. So it's a matter of responsible exploration and making sure that you do not destroy the environment while trying to understand it.
I think the Africans were just being safe with it.
So as much as we've enjoyed exploring the parts that our ancestors were afraid to explore, let's talk about modern day end of year celebrations.
Dirty
So
December.
Exactly. December is dirty. I think when I was younger, when the Calabar Carnival first came out, like
Yes.
it looked so much fun. Like I was watching it on TV and I wanted to go there, but up till now I've still not gone.
Same-
and it's
same
not what it
thing.
used to be.
Yeah, yeah.
So those are like really interesting things, like the carnival.
I used to want to go for the Calabar
street
Carnival
parade,
so
the
bad.
costumes.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah, and you know they have this myth that there's a mermaid that jumps out of the water every it's like it marks the cycle of a year. It's every year or is it every 2 years it happens. The mermaid jumps out of the water and goes back in.
Wow.
Maybe it was a dolphin.
Who knows?
But talking about the Calabar Carnival, I think with all due respect to those who are trying to claim ownership to Detty December, I think we already had something of that nature in Nigeria. We just didn't label it the Dirty December.
Right.
Like if you go to Edo State, for example, Edo people love to travel, especially out of the country. Now there's this thing they call them Akatarians. I just got back. Everybody comes home that December.
Sorry, is that Akatarian from the word Akata?
No, not really. It's a name coined out by Benin people.
Also, it's not a real word.
It's something.
It's not in the dictionary.
It's not in the dictionary.
Let's just say that.
Coined out.
It's a real word.
If you are from Edo State or Benin and you stay abroad and you live there for a very long time, and if you come back to Nigeria for the December feel, like Akataria, we just say, why is this guy sounding funny? He's like Akataria. Just got back.
And in today's language, IJGB.
Yes, I just got back. So we had that culture, in existence before we had this label, the Detty December, because it was paramount. Wherever you are, you must come back to the motherland. You must come back to your hometown to meet your grandfather, to your father, people at home, to just spend time with them, to enjoy that cultural festivity that happens every December across different tribes and different communities in Nigeria. So people looked always, like my father for once, God bless his soul, he never missed a December. We must go home because there's one activity, there's one festival going on. He uses that opportunity to meet up with his long-lost friend from childhood who would definitely come home for that festive period because of, the beautiful things. It's also interesting you mentioned brukutu. In my own part, there's something we call pito. It's also an alcoholic beverage that I don't know how they prepare it, but then my father would give me like a keg or like a calabash to drink, and you must drink it from, the local calabash. Those things have actually, we don't see them anymore.
Honestly.
We don't see them anymore. So then it was, that local feel. There's this particular egusi soup they make in my tribe. This egusi soup, I don't know how they make it, but the palm oil usually more than the main soup itself. They serve it with lots of palm oil. You get your egusi, the melons, you get every other thing, but the palm oil, I think it is freshly processed and they make the egusi soup. So people always used to come for that feel because of that local taste of your home country. And I think that's the whole idea of, the December feel. Maybe because of, the modern calendars we found ourselves, and everybody had adjusted these traditions and these festivals to fit that period. So everybody looked towards, coming home for that feel. So we already had that feel. We calling it Detty December now is just a label slapped
although I
to
really
it.
feel like Detty December in and of itself is kind of slightly different from that. Right? What it has become, is different. It's people coming in, hitting the clubs, tasting new foods,
Going for all the concerts.
going for all the concerts.
Yeah.
That's the most
But
important
it's not
part.
different.
Exploring
Modern
Afrobeats.
Afrobeats.
Exactly.
But it's not different.
Because
It's
when
not-
you
it's
see
not
when
different.
you see people talking about getting their Decembers dirty, they're stacking up concert tickets. That's it. And they know at these concerts they're going to party and they're going to drink and they're going to do all these things.
Now, let me borrow a from that.
Yeah.
Same activity here, but it's just different. People come, there are festive activities. There are, I don't know if I can call them shows, but local, every clan, like every community you go to, they call them wash nights. Is it wash nights they call them?
Those were kind of
It's similar.
nicer,
It's just
because
different.
it was so very traditional. I just feel like it lives in a whole world of its own and it should be revived. You'd go and see dancers, you'd have the Calabar Carnival, you could travel to different places. It was very rooted in culture. Nobody's kicking boots in your head because you sleep at their concert.
Shots fired.
I mean, you get what I mean. It was very rooted in culture. You get to do a lot of things, and it was family friendly too. Parents could still be with their kids to have fun for all these things. So I mean, a nice blend of those two worlds wouldn't be bad.
And you know, one thing about such visits, especially at the December period, is when you're going back to your various destination, you must go with farm produce.
Right.
That's going to be the plantains,
Yes.
the yams, the gari,
Food.
Mango.
the
Oh my
fruits
God.
and all of that. You will pack your car full.
Plantain on my
Plantains
end.
and
Oh my
plantains are one of
God.
my favorite, meals. So, back then, after all of those, festivities, if you still had your grandmother, your relative, your uncles, they'll tell you, hey, we already went to the farm, we harvested these plantains, these pineapples, and so many amazing fruits. So it was something to look towards. I wish I could go to the village right now because I know I'm going to come home with a lifetime supply of plantains and garis and the proper gari that when they fry them, when you taste them,
Word there,
it's
the proper gari.
straight from your homeland, from your home soil. You're having a taste of culture and your heritage. But right now, it's different. I don't know why, but I think things have actually changed. It's a little bit diluted. Some people still do some of these cultures. But for me, growing up then, I always used to look towards those fruit produce. They'll send, they'll package. Once, let's say we're leaving back to our destination the next day, I just look somewhere around the corner of the house and it's already there. And you see me smiling and plantain. We're going to eat plantains when we get back home. So these were some of the things we, were quite memorable for me growing up and going to my hometown, my village, whatever it is you want to call it. That communal living where family bonding was at its highest, where, grandparents are happy to see you, you're happy to see your cousins, you're happy to see your cousins you never knew existed. And you guys would play all day, and there were the knockouts. Apart from your modern knockouts, there were some traditional knockouts where they use gunpowder. I don't know what they call them. They put some pegs, they put them on the floor, they put like a keg of gunpowder, make a trail, light it up. It gives a very loud bang and it shakes and rocks the earth when these pegs drive into the ground. So it's different, it's memorable, and I wish we could go back to those days.
Me too.
What do you think could be the major discouraging factor, that's not allowing people explore these things?
Insecurity.
We're talking about modern day terms.
Insecurity aside, if you could pick one festival to attend this end of year, what festival would it be? Where would you be?
I think my father's village 30th December party.
I think I'd love to explore the Calabar Carnival.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never been to the Calabar Carnival.
Yeah,
I think I wish I could go for the Calabar Carnival as well.
Yeah, same
Amazing.
here, but I'm going to be in ABJ this year.
We'll do the
Yeah, I
Abuja
mean, I
Carnival.
think also because we're growing up, everybody's getting to new phases of their lives. We're forming our own Christmas traditions,
And then
our
before
own
we
end of the
take
year
any traveling
traditions.
decisions, we need to calculate.
We are the adults now.
So yeah.
Yeah.
What are your new traditions for the end of the year?
I haven't really thought about it, honestly. For me, it just feels like the difference of a day. Like when you sleep and then it's a new day, but they say it's a new year. Okay, so I'll take it as it's a new year.
Yeah.
But to me, it feels like it's the same. Like it's for me, my cycle of time is not cyclical. Like it's just like this, just going.
It doesn't
like,
just conform
day
to
by
what
day.
is-
It's just because society has said that this is a month, this is a week, this is a year, and so I struggle and say, okay, this is my year. But for me, I see my life from childhood to now as
You see them in
life.
seasons.
Yeah, even seasons. No, I see them in events. Like if
I see.
if I remember,
see.
okay, this happened when I was this year old.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That's how I remember things. I don't remember them per year.
True. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Amal.
I watch all the movies that are going to come out. Yeah, I think that's a tradition.
Well, I just
Watch
remembered.
movies,
I don't
watch
have a
movies.
tradition, but resolution.
Okay, yes, New Year resolution.
I wouldn't call it a new year, but a resolution. I just want to make more money in 2026.
Amen to
But I
that.
think
Amen.
that applies for everybody. That's always everybody's.
Yes. I'm talking about resolution. I think the end of the year is another phase where everybody thinks about their life. Some
Yeah,
people even very
reflection.
depressed. They are
Like-
thinking, oh, what have I achieved this year? What have I done? Well, at least you've been alive, so that's enough.
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
For me,
so
I think personally, according to research, most people who do New Year's resolution don't even maintain or keep it to second week of January. So there's no point of doing any New Year's
Like,
resolution.
if you want to change your life, you can
Just-
change it
Exactly.
right now.
Don't wait
You don't have
till 1st January to start changing your life.
Exactly. It
should be continuous.
It shouldn't be an eventful thing. It just should be. It should be a moment of reflection.
Yes, you
Just
say,
look
"I want
inwards
to
and say,
do
you know
better."
what? I think I want to do better. For me, all I do is just to say, okay, look at the previous year and just say, okay, you know, next year or the coming year, I just want to do things differently with more results, more money. Try and see how I can focus on my health because it's really key. There are people who love me, who need me around, so I need to do the right thing and just focus on that and just move on. I think it's overflowed. But my New Year's resolution is to, and at the end of the day, 2 weeks down the line, what's up with your New Year's resolution? I'm like, you know,
Gym
something-
memberships. You know, they always say that January is the time where the gym is the
I want to
fullest.
lose weight. Come the new
And then you see
year.
everybody 6 a.m. just running on the treadmill. And then by February, you're like,
Then you'll be like, what's up with that thing? You'll be
Well.
like, man, there's this new project I was trying to achieve. You know, it's taking all my time. And you just realign with what you're supposed to do and just move on. So I think the New Year's resolution discussion is so last year.
I know.
Also 10 years ago.
Right? So I'll just say that I think our ancestors were up to something when they had festivals and celebrations to mark the end of the farming season and thank the gods for the harvest and rest. Heavy on that rest. Because like after farming, you put your things in the barn and you eat them slowly till the next harvest season. And you're resting. Maybe you're hunting a bit and maybe gardening around your house, but not, you know, our bodies are not built to work 24/7.
Nope. Yep.
2 weeks ago,
Yep.
I was driving to work and I was just feeling exhausted. Then I was like, like if it was back in the day, my ancestors would have been resting. Like there are animals that eat during the rainy season and hibernate. Like they're sleeping for the winter months till spring comes again and they wake up and they are productive. And unfortunately for us humans, we have to be like,
Or like
Always.
animals that are nocturnal. In the day, they're
Exactly.
inactive. In the night, they're active. So like I agree with you, there's a cycle. But I think because of, once again, the Western life, we all have to just, you know, we have this
Suck it up.
goal.
hey, look, my own, I feel like it is capitalism that's causing it.
yes, it's capitalism.
Because, you know, it's December, it's close to the end of the year. Everybody's supposed to be at home, you know, chilling, you know, reflecting, planning, not New Year's resolution, but, you know, just looking back at the year, what you could have done better, you know, what you want to set your sights on, not necessarily setting goals, but starting to create systems that could help carry you to where you're looking to be. But then you remember, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that. And then before you know it, the end of the year is here. And then you just have to continue. So I think it's very important to make time, especially close to the end of the year, or when you can get it, really. You don't have to wait till the end of the year. You know, make out that time, you know, some 2-3 weeks where you just know that this is
Shut
like
down.
a shutdown period where I'm just reflecting and I'm just, you know, doing all these things to help me move on better.
So the moral of the story is, whatever you do, make out time to shut down and rest.
Yes.
Meet your family members, you know, hang out with them. If you can travel to your hometown, do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, soak in your traditional feel, soak in the culture, soak in that traditional cuisine, hibernate, rest, and come back to the city. And unfortunately, it begins again.
Yes.
So from all of us at the Forge Cast,
Happy holidays!